Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year and War Eagle. My name is Eddie Orantes, and I'm the Director of Business Operations for the Office of Alumni Affairs at Auburn University. And for the next 30 minutes, your host of 18 minutes and 56 seconds, the Auburn Alumni Association Speaker Series. This is our first show of 2021, and we're so happy to be with you again. You can find all of our shows by going to aub.ie/1856 series. We also want to hear from you. So ask questions and interact by leaving comments on our Facebook page. We'll do our best to answer them in the half hour that we have together. In today's show, we have two guests that will talk to us about how to be healthier and happier in 2021. So joining us is Olympian Reita Clanton and personal trainer Blake Butcher. They will be teaching us how to be more mindful, purposeful, and healthier by using 6 pillars of health and wellness. Reita is a professor in Auburn's School of Kinesiology and former Olympic handball player and coach, while Blake is a coordinator of personal training in Auburn's campus rec and longtime fitness expert. They will help us start 2021 off right. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So excited for this segment because there's no better way to start 2021 than really thinking about how to propel ourselves forward. So there's a lot to go through, but I'd like to first start with a video that will help introduce some of what we're going to be talking about.
My name is Blake Butcher, and I'm the personal training coordinator at Campus Recreation at Auburn University. My primary responsibility is trainer development. There's something about personal training that helps you find a part of your identity you didn't know existed. I like to tell everyone that this job found me. There was no plan on being in campus rec, and this was the perfect job for me to harness what I loved about connecting with people, personal training. You get to know people on so many levels. It's far more than fitness. It's far more than exercise. It's the wellness wheel. It's getting to know yourself from the inside out, not the outside in. Some of my true paychecks are thank you cards, and I save every one that I've ever been given from a trainer. They could be anywhere from thank you for helping me program, thank you for helping me pass this class, thank you for helping me realize that I'm good enough, I'm worthy enough. And money can't touch the thank you cards. Those are true paychecks, and that's what I can look at every day when I come to work and realize I'm doing my job, and that's enough.
That's wonderful. Blake, in our pre-shows, I learned a lot about you as a person and how much you care about relationships, how much you care about culture, and how much you truly care and how passionate about health and wellness. In a few minutes, we'll learn about this wellness wheel. I would like to, though, talk to Reita a little bit about her and who she is. If Reita, can you please tell us a little bit about you and what you're passionate about, and then we'll go into the wellness wheel.
Sure. I was born and raised in Alabama and grew up an Auburn fan. You know, most of my family went to Auburn, and that's where I went to school, and was so fortunate when I got here to Auburn. It was on the cusp of Title IX.
Butcher, and I'm the personal training coordinator at Campus Recreation at Auburn University. My primary responsibility is trainer development. There's something about personal training that helps you find a part of your identity you didn't know existed. I like to tell everyone that this job found me. There was no plan on being in campus rec, and this was the...
Yes, Reita.
Yeah, so, yeah, I just want to say, you know, in terms of my why and my passion, you know, I was an athlete most of my life, and I just learned early on that health and performance go hand in hand. You know, good health is our greatest treasure, and I just love being a part of the Auburn School of Kinesiology. So that's our focus every day. We have the opportunity to share what we're learning through our research and growing and, you know, sharing with others, and you know, to help them have tools to cultivate a healthy lifestyle and to leverage their lifestyle for health and well-being. So, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm sure that they benefit greatly. When I learned about you and what you've accomplished and the experiences that you've had, especially not only as a player, but as a coach, as somebody that has tested your body,
Yeah.
right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, and have to work through the vigors of that. It's funny that I saw in one of those clips, unfortunately, we didn't get to play it right, but 1984, you were in LA at the Coliseum. I was there. And it's so amazing to think that somebody like you is now able to give that testimony and those experiences to students. That's great. How did you and Blake meet? Because you're both in that video.
Yeah.
Right? How did that come about?
Well, we were both working at Health Plus Fitness Center. I was running a speed development program, and Blake was a personal trainer. And I just gotten to a point in my life, in my trying to maintain my health and fitness, that I thought I'd never had a personal trainer in my life. I'd always been the coach. I'd always been the teacher. But I was watching Blake work, and I thought, I think I could probably benefit from what he has to offer. So I asked him if he would be my personal trainer. And that's kind of how the friendship started.
And Blake, you took that on, and you've built a long-term relationship, one that has resulted in kind of what we're seeing today, what we'll learn about today, in developing these skills, etc. Can you tell us, Blake, about this wellness wheel and how you've used that not only with Reita and others, but what it means to you?
Absolutely. The wellness wheel, that there's so many dimensions that are out there. And I'm not going to talk about every single dimension out there, but I'm going to talk about 6 very important ones. Everyone listening needs to understand that it's in the process of wellness that the rewards exist. And the process of wellness is where we really find ourselves. We find where we need to nurture more, where we need to give more attention. And so what we discover about ourselves throughout the journey is that's wellness. And when most people think about wellness, or resolutions, they commonly think only physical, or I need to eat healthier. And that's important. It's definitely important, but there's so much more. It actually contains so much more in the wellness wheel. And so when you're looking at the first one, I'm going to talk about physical wellness. This dimension does not mean you become the ultimate gym rat. It doesn't mean you have to go join a gym and start that, journey. It just means we need to move, because at the end of the day, we were meant to move. And when we move, everything compounds in a good direction. And what I mean by that, it equals better sleep, better posture, better circulation, better memory. And it is better to be physically active and have a good, healthy diet than it is to not be active at all or eat poor foods. And so you just want to simplify, this dimension. And at the end of the day, it's all about consistency. That's where physical wellness can come to the surface. If you're consistent, then everything takes care of itself. And then you ask, how do I become consistent? Well, you have to be motivated. It's really a little formula. Motivation and inspiration will keep you consistent. That's what keeps you going back every day. And so I think it's a very important dimension. I just think that a lot of people have tunnel vision when they think of this dimension. I think that it's only, I got to join a gym. No, you just need to move. And yeah.
Great. I think it is important. I want to be fit like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but as you said, hey, Eddie, just one at a time, get moving, and
Right,
things
right.
will work themselves out. Spiritual, what is that? How does that apply?
Yeah, extremely important dimension. And basically it comes down to, no matter how we choose to worship or what we choose to have faith in or what we choose to believe in, it's a good thing to ponder the meaning of our life. It's a good thing. And when we're connected to something greater than ourselves, it really gives us a sense of purpose. That's why this dimension is so important. Mm-hmm. And it's good to live each day in a way that's consistent with our values, our biases, our beliefs, and most importantly, I love to say this, our lenses. And I say lenses because we all see the world differently based on the environment we grew up in.
Right.
And everyone's going to have a different outlook. So spiritual wellness is what ultimately guides what actions we take for our lives. That's the guide there. And when we find deeper meaning through prayer, meditation, travel, even solitude, believe it or not, volunteering, and as odd as this might sound, questioning. It all starts with questions at the end of the day, because the questions are the catalyst that provoke thought, and which in turn creates action. So this dimension is important because it connects us with self. It's very important to be connected with self and what makes us tick. And it's really just finding what works for you. It can be expressed through art, music, literature, or nature. It's really, but that's the foundation of spiritual wellness.
That's wonderful. Thank you. How about intellectual?
Yeah, we have to nurture our minds just as much as we do our body. And from a personal standpoint, I'd say COVID-19 pushed me into this dimension more than any in my personal life. I've probably read more books and journaled more this past year than I have since college, which is sad to say. But it's a great example because when life's passing, we start operating our lives on autopilot, and certain things get pushed to the side, they get neglected. And for me, this was one of them. And it just shows we have to pay attention to every dimension, no matter what it is. Intellectual wellness, it allows us to be more creative. That's the purpose of it. It broadens our perspective on things. It basically takes us from here to right here. And that's the point of it. And so, I encourage people to find a book on a topic that interests you, but don't just read it, apply it. It's no good if we just read and put it down. And we have to really, live what we're reading. And if that's not it, listen to podcasts. I mean, that's the thing now. And if that's not for you, journal, just write, pick up a new hobby, learn a new language. I mean, we could create a wonderful list of things to do, but at the end of the day, intellectual wellness is really where we keep our mind sharp. So yeah.
It's wonderful. Thank you. Occupational.
I'm going to take a sip real quick. I think this is a good one because I know we have a lot of university, people watching. And basically, do you love what you're doing? And is your career consistent with your personal values? That's where occupational wellness comes in. It's in alignment with our personal interests and our personal beliefs, our job. And here's why it's important. We spend 2/3 of our lives at working, right? And our office on some level becomes our home. And that's true for a lot of people with COVID because home is office for a lot of people now. And also it's important because our coworkers on some level become our family. Mm-hmm. So occupational wellness is extremely important. And most can agree that if you love what you do, the fulfillment and the money within the job will usually take care of itself. That's the point of it, right? And I love my job because I value what comes with the job. For me, connecting with people like in the video, mentoring, teaching, supporting and leading, those are what I value within the job. And so it makes the job fulfilling. And so if you know what you value most within the job, the rest takes care of itself. And the word value is important with occupational wellness. And I say that because if you're not feeling that you're valued, then there might be a problem. But also on the flip side, do you bring value to the job? That's a whole nother, conversation to have. Do you bring value? So those are very important questions to ask with that dimension. Yep.
Thank you. Social
wellness. I had to separate like social wellness with too much social media, and that's not it. So I kind of chose the healthy direction here. Basically, what are our relationships like? What are your friendships and your relationships like? Are they healthy? Are they toxic? Do you have a good social circle? This dimension is important because when we have healthy relationships and a strong social network, we tend to handle people and stress better. That's why this dimension is important. It's a domino effect. Healthy relationships equals less stress, and less stress equals better quality of life. So that's why that's a very important dimension. And the biggest factor that plays a role is hands down communication. It's how we communicate with each other in our relationship, in our friendships, in our social circles. So there has to be at some point a healthy discourse between people. It can't be, I'm right, you're wrong, don't talk to me. You believe in that, I don't talk to me. That's where we've probably taken a bad right turn. And, my wife has always told me, I had to learn this many years. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's true. And I'm still learning that. But that coincides with social wellness. So healthy communication plays a big role in our relationships and our social life. And when we learn to communicate better, everyone wins. So very important.
Yeah, that is important.
Yep.
I think this is the last one, the emotional.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones. Emotional wellness can make or break us. That's the truth. We have to be aware that it's better to accept how we feel rather than deny how we feel. Because eventually, if we tuck things down too much, they will resurface. At some point, they resurface. And if they don't, we carry this, whatever emotion it is, anger, guilt, fear, resentment, we can once again name a laundry list. But at the end of the day, optimism is better than pessimism. All right. Our emotions are just visitors. If you look at it that way, it's okay to just let them come and go. We can feel things, but we don't need to hold on to them. And also our emotional wellness, it tells us a lot about ourselves. It tells us how we adapt to change, how we handle difficult times, and honestly, how resilient we are. And I want to remind people that no matter the circumstance, try to stay positive, try to smile. It's okay to have humility and ask for help. And every now and again, and Rita's taught me this, pull gratitude from your pocket every now and again. That to me is emotional wellness at its best. So to wrap all the dimensions up, if you want to change in any dimension, start with awareness. Start with self-awareness. Pay attention to your patterns. Because at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, we're really a product of our patterns. Very important. And to simplify all 6 dimensions, 1, move, okay? 2, pray, on however that works, whatever that looks like. Read or listen. Value your work. Communicate and stay positive. So yeah.
That's awesome. And it sounds like all have to work together.
100%.
One missing may be detrimental. There's a word that Rita used. Thank you for sharing, by the way, Blake. There's a word that she used in our pre-meeting, and that is the power of intentions, and how that would bring balance to a lot of this, or at least complete this whole process that you just explained to us, Blake. Rita, can you tell us about this power of intentions and how it works in conjunction with the wellness wheel?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And thank you, Blake, for that great information. And I just want to note here, I think it's important to note that the 6 dimensions of wellness are presented as a wheel, because when it comes to optimal health and well-being, it's all about balance. As human beings in every aspect of our lives, we thrive when we're in balance. And so with that understanding, I think it's helpful as a first step toward a more healthy lifestyle to kind of lean into that a little bit and take some time to contemplate and envision, what would a balanced life look like for me? And more importantly, maybe what would it feel like for me? And then, as Blake said, with that awareness, then you can look at the dimensions of the wellness wheel with a little more clarity and begin to make choices, to leverage your lifestyle to support that balance. And, when we were talking earlier in the week about resolutions, and we all make resolutions, New Year's resolutions, and often they're kind of hard to keep. And so I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a resolution and an intention now, and why maybe an intention would be more supportive in cultivating a healthy lifestyle for ourselves. So just to give you an example, let's say I make a New Year's resolution that says, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, follow this particular diet, and go to the gym 4 days a week. So how does that feel? How does that feel to you? To me, it feels kind of rigid and kind of narrow and maybe even kind of tense, and like, I got to march and get this done. But what if I soften the language a little bit and just made it more expansive? Like, this year, I'm going to create a balanced lifestyle that supports my body's natural health and well-being. That's a bigger picture, an inspiring picture that gives us some breathing room. And now, if I have that breathing room, now with that resolution, I can begin to set my intentions every day to support that. Does that make sense?
Perfect
So,
sense.
yeah. So with that said, I just want to say, in terms of supporting ourselves through the decision to create a healthier lifestyle or whatever it may be in our lives, and addressing those dimensions of the wellness wheel, I want to emphasize that how we start our day has a tremendous impact on the energy and awareness that we carry throughout the day. So mindfully focusing our attention first thing in the morning is kind of like setting our personal GPS. So when we wake up in the morning, instead of reaching for the phone and immediately reacting to life and giving our power away, perhaps when we open our eyes, we could just take a few deep breaths just to connect with ourselves, and then consciously focus our attention positively on the day ahead, and then set intentions to support this particular resolution that I said about cultivating a healthy lifestyle. Like, you could set an intention that says, today I make space throughout the day for healthy self-care. That's broad, but I'm giving myself some breathing room. Today, it is my intention to make space throughout the day for healthy self-care. And then I could choose a couple of things to focus on in that regard. For example, I could set the intention, and I like this because a lot of times when we think about resolutions, a resolution is we're always looking at the end. It's okay to begin with the end in mind, but every day we have to, do things to build toward that. So I like to say, just for today, I eat foods that support my body's natural health. I will stay hydrated. And like Blake said, I will look for opportunities to move more throughout the day. And so setting that intention first thing in the morning, now I've kind of set my GPS, and I'm going to be more aware of practicing those things and giving myself opportunities to fulfill those self-care practices throughout the day. So that's why I think intentions are more powerful than a resolution, because it's a daily kind of, I don't even want to say a commitment. It's just a daily awareness of how I can take steps toward fulfilling that main resolution of cultivating a healthy lifestyle for myself that supports balance.
It is tangible. And honestly, I am guilty of picking up the phone in the morning. I'll admit, it's one of those things that my excuse is I need to check what time it is. But no, I'm going to the phone because I'm used to going to the phone. So I will put that into practice. Rita, you got my commitment on that one. I'm just going to stop, take a deep breath, and think. A couple of things I want to share with what you just said. But before I do that, know that Donna Smith is watching you, and she says hello. So there's a shout out for you, Miss Rita.
Donna.
One of the questions that came through is, how does meditation help? Is that kind of what you're talking about? This whole idea of being able to stop, reassess, really consider, meditate, and then move forward?
Absolutely. If you want to use the word meditation, it's just an opportunity to bring ourselves to center. And then when we're centered and we're connected, and then we can, energy flows where attention goes. So if I, first thing in the morning, bring my attention to center, connect with myself, and then purposefully and consciously turn my attention toward things that open my heart and uplift my spirit, and think about make intentions toward supporting myself in self-care every day. Yeah, and so that's meditation. It's just present moment awareness. It's just bringing everything within and then choosing where I'm going to put my attention so that my energy flows in that direction.
Two things I've learned from you guys, and I'll use your own phrases on this. One, you said in the past, we are primary health care providers. What you have just shared with us is exactly that. We can look to the six ways of staying balanced, health and wellness wheel. And then we can look to intentions, meditation, and or self-awareness to start off our day right. And so you've made it tangible for me to be my own health provider. But there's another phrase, sitting is the new smoking, right? Let's move. Let's get out. Let's get active. We've got about 3 minutes left. What do you want to leave our viewership with? What's the most important thing to start off 2021 right? Naturally, implementing all of these things, but if there's one simple thing that we need to pursue, what would that be?
Personally, I want to throw this out there, and it might be a really big right turn, but I think some people understand. It's really hard for people to start on their own. I say look for someone that you would like to model after, someone that has a lifestyle or lives a lifestyle maybe you would like to learn from, and ask questions. And there's nothing, most people are afraid to just ask, and most people are willing to help if you just ask. And I say that because Rita and I's path crossing, it was really her being present with me and seeing me and hearing me and understanding me that really elevated my personal fitness journey. It really did, because she took her time to listen and see me and acknowledge me. And I think a lot of people are really starving just to be acknowledged and seen and heard and understood. It's very important. And that would be a big step. If you're finding a hard time navigating alone, find someone to ask for help, ask questions. A good friend you really think a lot of, because at the end of the day, it's behavior change. It is behavior change. If you can find that new pattern, those new habits, you're going to be in the right direction. So, yeah.
Thank you, Blake. Rita?
Yeah, that's awesome, Blake. And thank you for sharing that. I guess I would just say that health is our greatest treasure. Health is our first wealth. And we've been given these magnificently intelligent bodies through which we experience and express our lives. But if our physical health is compromised in any way, then our ability to experience and express and perform at our best in life is compromised as well. And so just understanding that we are the single biggest variable in our own health, and that's determined by the choices that we make every day in regard to that wellness wheel. And I just think we have to start with the premise that our bodies are designed for health and well-being. And if we accept that gift, then it's our responsibility to be good stewards of it and supply it what it needs every day to stay in balance and thrive. And we can do that intentionally, day after day after day, and just watch how our body responds and serves us.
This is exactly why we chose to start 1856 series. To be able to bring to the Alumni Association members and friends concrete, substantial opportunities to learn something new, and to be able to do these things to improve who we are as individuals and stay connected with the university. So thank you to both of you on behalf of the Auburn Alumni Association for participating and sharing these valuable insights. I know I'm putting them into practice. I may not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I'll be a healthy Eddie Orantes as a result of this. So thank you to both of you for sharing this. We really do appreciate it. And I'm going to let the viewership know, please join us next show. It will be hosted January 28th at 11:30, when we spend 18 minutes and 56 seconds with President Gooch and learning about the affairs of Auburn University. Until then, please stay safe and War Eagle.